Did you hit record? Hi, this is DJ Rossstar. Hello, sir. Introduce yourself.
I'm Caleb. That's me. I'm Caleb.
What you smoking there, Caleb?
It's an electronic cigarette. It's pretty lame, but it keeps me from smoking cigarettes.
Tell the kids how it works. I've never heard of this.
You press this, and I honestly don't know too much about it. There's nicotine liquid, and you press it, and it heats it up and turns it into water vapor.
Now you're only 20 years old, so how long have you been smoking for?
I smoked on and off for God knows how long. I don't know, since I was on tour. I've been touring since I was like 15. I don't know, these things are awesome. There's this company at home called Alt Smoke that good friends of mine run. So they just like hook me up with cool stuff.
Who's to blame? Who got you hooked on your very first cigarette?
My very first cigarette?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Was it peer pressure, or did you want to do it?
My first cigarette, I think, oh man, I'm trying to remember. I think I was like 14.
Okay.
And I like was walking around and I was like pissed at something at home and I was like, I'm gonna be rebellious. And so some dude, like one of my friends is walking by and I was like, give me a cigarette, I want a cigarette.
Wow.
Like, are you sure, man? Like, this is bad stuff. I was like, yeah. And I literally took it and took like one hit and like didn't even inhale it and threw it on the ground. And I was like, yeah, I'm a badass.
And you never stopped.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't smoke a ton. Like, I mean, it was like just kind of on and off. I was never like constantly like 2 packs a day for years and years. It was just like every so often I guess I would go in phases. On the road, you always just want to smoke something if you smoke. And this is just the greatest thing ever because I can smoke it anywhere. And I don't have to smoke cigarettes and feel like a piece of crap.
So 14 was the first cigarette. When was the first tattoo?
16.
16, okay.
16.
How does that happen? How do you get a tattoo at 16?
Coolest thing ever. So I told my parents, I was like, I want to get a tattoo. And they're like, okay, maybe at some point when you're older. And I was like, all right. And then on my 16th birthday, they surprised me and flew out to Orlando, Florida for our show. And they were like, all right, we talked about it. We're going to let you get a tattoo.
Wow.
As long as it's above your elbow. I was like, sweet. So I should show you. But
in case you wanted to get a job at the bank,
yeah,
you needed to look appropriate.
Exactly. But first tattoo was the outline of these two flowers, actually, with like the little waves and stuff. But this is a guy named Steve Roberts who's been tattooing me ever since. Literally by complete random. Went to some kid at the show. I was like, what's a good shop around here that I can get tattooed at? And he's like, oh, this place, and this guy Steve is really good. And I was like, cool. So by total luck, we went there and we happened to have a day off the next day or something. And I was like, is there any way I can get tattooed? And he was like, sure, I'll squeeze it in. And he's just been a good friend of mine, tattooed me ever since. But
how much did he charge you for the very first tattoo?
Oh, first tattoo was maybe 150 or 200 bucks. It wasn't terrible.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry.
You didn't cry at all?
It was like right here. This is like the most pussy place to get tattooed ever. And it just doesn't really hurt that bad. I've never cried, but I have a giant like lion tattoo on my chest and
hairy lion.
Yeah. Everyone thinks it's chest hair. Everyone thinks it's chest hair.
Oh, it's not chest hair.
No, literally everyone's like.
Can I touch?
Oh yeah, feel me up.
There is some chest hair.
Yeah, there is some chest hair, but it's
let's not mess around here.
Yeah, but everybody on like pictures that comment on pictures are like, he's got crazy chest hair. I'm like, no, okay, I guess I'm just the guy with the chest hair now. But I was getting tattooed, and that was the worst tattoo ever. Like, this isn't even finished. I literally just haven't gotten it worked on in like a year or two because I don't want to go through that pain again. But I'm just pushing it off, and I'm like, oh, I'll just work on other stuff.
Well, you didn't cry from that, but when was the last time you cried?
Last time I cried?
Was it a movie, a TV show, a breakup, a tour ending?
I don't know. I've been married for a year, so not really a breakup.
Did you cry of happiness at your wedding?
Oh yeah, of course. I cried at my brother's wedding. It was intense. I was his best man, and I was like crying like my eyes out, but it was sweet. And I don't know. I was tearing up at the end of Toy Story 3. I'm dead serious.
The last time I cried was at the end of Lost.
The end of Lost?
But we watched that recently, not like back in 2010. Let's watch it now.
Oh, dude, I haven't even seen Lost. Unless
you want to cry, don't watch Lost.
You will cry. Let's do it.
You mentioned your wedding, which was a year ago. Was there anything outrageous about your wedding that set it apart from all the other weddings that we're going to go to in our lifetime?
I mean, I went to the island Kauai, and it was amazing. We got married on the beach, and it was literally like something it was like something out of a movie. Like it was unbelievable, man. It was the most beautiful day, perfect wedding. It was like real small. It was just like our families, and it was amazing. And then we went and we rode on dune buggies around where they filmed Jurassic Park, and that was one of the coolest moments of my entire life. Definitely.
What did you see? What areas of Jurassic Park?
We saw where the giant chase scene happens, with like where they're hiding behind the tree, and then you look up and there's all the small things running, and we like drove through there, and it was amazing. It was so cool.
Fantastic. Well, we do have to ask you something about music while we're here.
Yeah.
What's the word with disgusting? What's the update?
Well,
2014 is not enough of a time frame for a new album.
We were just talking about it. We're shooting for like April or May, but we want to put out a bunch of like stuff before that because the record's almost done.
Okay.
I'm gonna be finishing up the little bits that need to be done right when I get home from this. And we were gonna release it earlier, but I think Red Bull really wants to like do their whole thing with marketing. I don't know, they're really smart, they know what they're doing, and I was like, I'm gonna trust you guys on this. But I don't know, I mean, we want to put out a lot of material. We just put out a music video yesterday.
That's great, and an EP for free.
Yeah.
Why charge them, right? They're gonna download it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares? That's the point.
Are you producing again for your own record?
Yeah. I produced the whole record except I did 2 songs with John Feldman.
That's great.
Yeah, and he's become one of my best friends, and he's the coolest dude ever. And for me, with Beartooth, I wouldn't want anyone to produce it who doesn't really know me as a person, because it's a very personal project.
Yeah.
And I think he's the only person I would want working on that, like on a songwriting standpoint and stuff. And he's amazing. He's brilliant. And he knows me very well, and he's able to push me musically. It's really cool.
From just meeting you for 5 minutes, it sounds like you have a very good life. You have a wife, you have a band.
Cool.
Well, what are you writing about them? Lyrically, there's nothing really to complain about, right?
Well, I have a lot of mental stuff that goes on with like depression and just kind of like chemical imbalance things. And I don't know. But more or less, a lot of it I'm writing about is like either personal experience or things that I hear about that are really stupid. Like,
I want to hear something
well, I don't know, I wrote a song about child abuse, and I was never abused as a child. My parents are the greatest people on the planet, but I've had a lot of people that I know that have been through that, and just hearing stories, and it just like, that's something that blows my mind, that a human can bring themselves to doing that, and it like bums me out. And I don't know, so I wrote a song about that, just kind of like for the people who've gone through that, or, you know what I mean? I wrote, what did I write about? I don't even know. I just kind of write about whatever's going on in my head at that point in time, and like just kind of let it happen. I don't know.
Well, from watching your set, everything seemed very heavy, very aggressive.
Yeah.
Will there be anything on the record that you know at this point that will surprise the fans? Anything like really slow or a ballad perhaps? Melodic?
Kind of. There's one song that's really like a really personal song to me that I didn't even know if I wanted to put on the record, but I felt like I had to, or I'd be like selling the band short. But it's gonna be the last song on the record, and it's pretty slow, and it's just like, it was like kind of one take, like I just did it, and there's a lot of, I don't know, it's very bizarre. It's kind of really awkward to listen to, honestly. I've only listened to it maybe 4 or 5 times since I recorded it, just because it's so intense and emotional, and like, but I wanted it to be that way. If I was gonna do it, I didn't want to like sell it short.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of hit record and left all the like weird things in the takes, and every time I messed up, every time I sounded like crap. Actually, that's one of the last times I did cry. I actually cried during that whole take, and it's really weird, but I was like, if it was in the take, it's in the take, and I'm not going to take away from it.
That's great. Well, hang on, before we go, tell them where they can check you out while I unravel this shirt.
You can unravel it.
You've been rolling this whole time, so I'm going to do this slowly.
I mean, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, or all those things. I think beartoothband.com is our website, and I think you can still get the EP for free there. There's music videos, whatever.
check it out. And then we're gonna be on the road for like all of 2014. Like we're already completely stacked up. So
Thank you very much.
yeah.